How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
We're back for another week of talking fights, man. Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name's Ramiro. That's my boy, Will. And this is where we talk all things mixed martial arts. Sometimes UFC, sometimes one. I guess whatever's going on, right?
Whatever's going on. If it's good enough, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. And today,
sometimes if it's bad,
it might not be good enough, but we're still going to talk about it. Today, we're going to be going over UFC Vegas. Is it 86?
86.
But before we do, just want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're trying to reach 11,000 subscribers. Less than a year ago, we were trying to reach 2,000, Will. And now we're like, hey, we're trying to reach 11,000. The growth is there.
Ascension,
yes. Better than descension.
Yeah, 100%.
But if they don't like watching and they like listening, well, they can find us in other places, right?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found. Go to storyofthefight.com. It'll list all our social media. Click through, hit follow, hit subscribe. Check us out on Twitch, all that stuff, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X. And then it also
literally Story of the Fight everywhere, huh?
If you want that sweet hoodie that Ramiro's wearing, storyofthefight.com. They'll have a link to our merch. Or just go to the description. Links are in the description of this video as well.
Word. All right, man. So we had mentioned UFC Vegas 86, and it was Hermansson versus Pyfer. Everybody's like, I can't wait to see this card.
Chomping at the bits.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I think I texted you yesterday, and I was like,
Hey,
I've only watched a couple of fights. Oh, shout out Region. He's already joining us. I love it.
Share the stream with your mom. She'll love it. Exactly. Moms love it. What can we say?
They do. Region's been saying this for years, and people don't believe us, but there's more and more moms joining us.
Every week, there's more moms.
I think I texted you a couple fights in yesterday. And I said, "These are minutes in my life I'm never gonna get back." Right? But there were some good fights that did happen yesterday, right? So we're here for all of it. Do you want to go and get started with the main event?
Yeah, we're going to get started with Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. If you're watching this live, we're going to run through the card. If you're coming back to this later and there's a specific fight you want to see, there will be timestamps you can click on to skip to the fight you care about. But for now, we're going to start with the main event, Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer.
Hey, shout out Blunderbub for joining us as well. He says, I can't believe I watched this just so I could participate. I hope you're happy. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for joining us. I am happy. Yes, absolutely. So check it out, man. Pyfer, everybody's I shouldn't say everybody, right? But the UFC has really been promoting Pyfer, and help me understand something well, because I feel like I missed something, right? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to get an understanding on, because I watched the promo leading up. And they cut that promo before. And when a fight ends early and UFC's trying to take up 30 minutes before the next fight starts, they're cutting more promos. There was a promo where they're like, Joe Pyfer's career almost ended. Like, there was a point where Joe Pyfer thought that he wasn't going to be able to continue fighting. And then it cuts to Joe Pyfer and he's like, yeah, man, it's been the toughest time in my life. And then I was like, dude, what happened? Did this guy get cancer? Like, what's going on? He broke his arm. Mm-hmm. And so was it so severe that they're like, dude, I don't think we're going to be able to put it back together?
I guess, dude. And they got it, he came from a pretty crazy upbringing and stuff. And, not a lot of chances or opportunities to succeed. So he's overcome all that, which is cool and stuff. But
okay. See, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. But the real reason that the UFC is behind him is that, he shows up. What did he do he did on the Contender Series? Yeah, he got a knockout on the Contender Series. Broke his arm. Well, first, Dustin Stoltzfus slammed him, hurt his arm. Bam, came back on the Contender Series, got a knockout, and they're like, "Sick, you're back in." But the real reason is because he's like, "Why are all these fighters complaining about fighter pay? This is the biggest opportunity of your life. You got to make the most of it." Dana's like, "That guy,
that's my guy
right there." Yeah, and they're like, "Everybody needs to be like Joe Pyfer." Be Joe Pyfer. That was the saying or the phrase or whatever. And it was just and then now he's got this huge chip on his shoulder because Dana bought him a house and all this stuff. And
Dana bought him a house?
I think so. Someone bought him a house. I think it was Dana. And like,
Allegedly.
yeah, and he's just got like a massive chip on his shoulder, and then he allegedly broke Francis Ngannou's record for power on that punching machine that you can find at like a carnival, and like hit it with the hammer, and then you're like, oh wow, it really means nothing, but he broke the record, and they're like, nobody really cared because why would you? And he's all like, he did an interview, and he's like, why don't people believe me? I hit hard as fuck, and it's like, no. It's not that nobody believes you that you broke the record on the thing. It's just nobody cares about that record because clearly you don't hit harder than Francis Ngannou.
Like you,
no way.
Like Joey, 16-year-old from high school that works there, probably didn't calibrate that shit correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or it's a fucking machine that you just punch, and it's like, yep, you hit harder than this person, or like this is a score for your punch. Like it's stupid. It's like a novelty
cool machine,
thing. You know?
Who was it? I think Joe Rogan showed that he has one in his not in his studio, but he has like a gym in his studio.
Compound. Yeah.
Where like it's like legit connected to like some type of machine that measures like pounds per square inch when you like kick it or punch or something like that. Like that might be a little bit more accurate than the.
I still don't buy it. I don't think there's an exact science, because like you could hit it on like a weird angle that like it just doesn't matter. None of it's like a real life application. Like it just doesn't matter, you know. Until you tell me what kind of vehicle he hits as hard as, you know, what was it? A Ford Escort or something like that was Francis, like he hits as hard as a Pinto or something. I don't remember what it was. He just says, I hold the record for hardest punch in my local trampoline park. Hey, there you go, dude. It's mostly 8-year-olds in him. Yeah, be like Joe Pyfer, be like Regen. Start breaking records on these punching machines.
That comment already won the day. I was so happy after that comment. But hey, let's get to the fight, man. So look, Pyfer comes out the first round and looks like a world beater, man. He is catching Hermansson at the end of his shots too, snapping his shots back, man. And for a second there, I was like, man, I don't think Hermansson's going to have an answer for this, because he kept on getting hit pretty dang hard, man.
Yeah. Did you think that, wow, Hermansson could take punches from Francis Ngannou if he's taking these punches?
I thought he could get hit by a Pinto, and the Pinto would be more damage than Hermansson.
It was a Ford Escort, right? I think it was
that's what it was. It was a Ford Escort. It was going 60 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah, but Joe Pyfer, you know, he walks him down the whole first round, and he is putting it on him. Nice left hook to the body, nice little short left hook, sometimes a real long left hook, which is kind of part of the issue here. But that long right hand, you know, every once in a while it looks like someone's got magnets on it, and it's just they throw it from way back there, and it just covers so much ground and still lands. And yeah, Hermansson was pretty much pure defense that whole first round, right?
Yeah,
circle on the outside.
It's that long reach, but he also did a good job of throwing punches where Hermansson was going to be. Like Hermansson was doing this thing where he was really bobbing deep left and right, and Pyfer was a little patient, and he'd wait for like he'd feint, and Hermansson, dude, he was really reacting to those feints because he bobbed deep, and then like as soon as he's coming back up from bobbing, he'd hit him with like this little shovel hook, and I was like, damn, man, like Pyfer actually his striking looked pretty damn crisp that first round.
Yeah, it did in the first round, and then in the second round, it looked pretty good for the first half of the round, and then eventually Hermansson was like, all right, cool, time to start working. I truly think that Hermansson was kind of just taking a breather that first round, knowing, hey, this guy, we haven't really seen him get extended too much. I know cardio is my weapon, so I can kind of weaponize my cardio. Just kind of take that round off, make him think that he's going to run through me. There's going to be no resistance type thing, and then I'll start shifting and it was perfect, right? That's where that like experience comes into play. You always talk about like, when there's like that real experienced guy versus the young up and comer that everybody's hyped on. Do you go for experience, or is there also some old age there? There's some battle worn, or do you go for the fresh guy? Like it's tough to kind of, you never really know, because you can have so much experience, but your chin isn't there anymore. You know, there's like a threshold, right?
And we saw that a couple times in this fight, you know, but not with Hermansson.
Not with Hermansson. And he kind of showed like, hey, there's levels to this outside of just fighting ability. There's also like game planning, executing that game plan, knowing, hey, this is a 5-round fight. I could take this first round off, start putting my game plan together in the second half of the second round. And from there, that momentum shift can be really hard to shift back again if you're Joe Pyfer. And he just couldn't. from the second half of the second round, it was just Hermansson working off that jab, the double jab, the calf kick. It was fucking beautiful. It looked like super leg out there, huh? Jabs and low kicks.
Well,
He won the fight with jabs and low kicks.
yeah.
I'm
No,
not
it was
saying the
good,
technique
man.
looked as good, but
I was gonna say, yeah. But dude, you could see him just wear on Pyfer little by little.
there was
And
that nice
at
snap
the
jab where that cracked him in the eye. He was like,
so good, man.
eye poke.
So
Like,
good.
no, no.
And the nonstop pressure after that, after the second round. And it was just a dominant performance. It's so funny because they're talking about like, hey, well, right now Pyfer is favored, like minus 800, minus 1200 or whatever, coming out of that second round. And then going into the fifth round, they're like, Hermansson's a favorite by minus 200. Like, what a swing, and it's like, yeah, dude, he just absolutely turned it on. And I think a great learning experience for Pyfer, right? Like he showed yesterday that he has some skill, man. He's a really good fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of power behind his shots, big learning experience, and he's going to be able to see like, dude, you cannot bully your way through to the title. No. You're going to run into people in the top 10 like a Hermansson that might not have all the skill in the world, but he has that crafty veteran ability to find a way.
Yep. And, like you go through the regional scene, you see a lot of these regional MMA fights where a guy can just go out and blitz and blitz and blitz, and someone will just crumble at that level. Like you said, you can't really storm your way through that top 10 unless you're very special. Like it takes a special person to do that. I mean, you saw it with Hamzat. Hamzat, once he fought Gilbert Burns, it was like, hey, they're not just going to wilt to that crazy aggression like you're used to. That starts to disappear, and you got to have a plan B when that doesn't work. You can't just be that, because it looked like once that didn't work, Pyfer was kind of just like, oh,
what do I do?
I'll just keep throwing this right hand and this left hook. But at that point, he was trying to force it so much that the left hook was now looping. He was getting off balance. The calf kick debilitated him to the point where he couldn't use his feet to land his shots anymore. In the post-fight interview, he was like, so yeah, Hermansson wins it round 3, 4, and 5 on all judges' scorecards. And then they interview Pyfer at the end, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna make excuses, but he was landing the calf kick better, so my leg wasn't very. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's part of the fight, dude. That's not an excuse. That was just you being beat, man.
Exactly. That was part of his strategy.
Yeah. Hey, man, I probably could have won if my leg was held up to those kicks better. It's like, no, dude, don't get kicked.
Worked for O'Malley. You got the crap kicked out of his leg, and he's like, nah, man, it was just a
still
fluke. I'm still undefeated.
But very cool to see Hermansson get a win here, because in the past, Hermansson has really struggled with guys who hit hard, and Pyfer hits hard as fuck, harder than Francis Ngannou, I'm told, and he still stayed in there. Good footwork, rolled with the shots really well.
Yeah,
Pyfer just became a little too predictable, I think, with the shots he was throwing too. It was really just left hook to the body, right straight to the body, right straight up top, or left hook up top. It was pretty much just that. He kind of started throwing the jab later on in the fight.
And props to Hermansson though, because Hermansson, you going into this, it's a 5-round fight, man. This is a long fight, because
he's been there, he's done that.
Yeah, and if this was a 3-round fight, if it wasn't a main event, it's a lot closer, dude. He probably would have lost. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Well, he would have fought differently, right? I don't think he would have taken the first round off like that.
Maybe would have taken more risks in that first round, but also with the way that Pyfer was landing and the power he was landing with, who knows?
Who knows?
Right?
But
I mean, it's all hypothetical.
Another thing too is the coaches, the Pyfer's corner, pretty much all their advice after the first round, they kind of had some good advice. They're like, yeah, we need to do this, see this. After that, it was pretty much just don't let him get comfortable. You're letting him reset, and when he resets, then he can pop off that jab and the kick. Stop letting him do that. You need to like force him to be uncomfortable. And it's like, that's kind of just feeding into that blitz, wilt this guy with that crazy pressure that you have success with on the regional scene. And it's like, hey, no, that didn't work. It's not, you're not letting him reset. Hermansson's just resetting because he's good. His footwork is good, and his jab is stopping you in your tracks. It allows him to reset. You can't just make him uncomfortable. That can't be the only advice. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because that's what failed already. Trying to do that failed at that point. You can't rounds 3, 4, and 5. That cannot be the advice anymore. But it was.
But again, a good fight from Hermansson. Masterful game plan. Props to him and his team. And again, just a learning experience for Pyfer, right?
Yeah. How do you feel about
Awesome.
Joe Pyfer's nickname on a less serious note?
What is it again?
Body bags with a Z. Joe Body Bags Pyfer.
Body bags Pyfer. I don't know, man.
Not my favorite. Blunderbuff says my biggest takeaway from the night or from last night is UFC should pay its viewers if they're going to make them listen to Cruz and Cormier all night. Oh my god. Me and Ramiro got that out of our system, so we're not just complainies on this stream because we always complain about the commentary, and it was exceptionally bad last night.
I don't want to just spew negativity the entire time, Like I've actually had listeners before that tell me like, "Yo, man, like you guys just dog on the commentators too much and the refs too much," and it's like, all right, we'll chill off that, But I'm glad you brought it up, Blunderbuff, because we weren't gonna.
Yeah, and Josh says perfect showcase that there's levels, 100%. Like this is the epitome of there's levels to this stuff, and he says got to lose that nickname.
For sure. All right, man. We ready to move on?
Yeah, I guess that was Pyfer trying to get into the rankings. He gets stopped from that.
He'll be in the top 15 soon.
I liked Hermansson's call out of Imavov. I don't know if he gets it. I think Imavov probably moves up instead of facing down, but that'd be a fun fight.
That'd be a very fun.
I mean, it'd be as fun as you can get in middleweight.
It'd be a fun. It would not don't give it to me as a main event.
No,
how about that?
No.
All right. Before that, we had what some people called the people's main event with Dan Ige versus Andre Fili.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks where the co-main is the people's main event.
For
that's the Apex card in general, I guess. Yeah, man.
Life in the Apex.
Picture's great, dude.
Yeah. I wonder how much Andre Fili walks around at.
Yeah, I don't know. You think
because he looks pretty sucked in here, huh? Look at that.
It looks like what's his name's offended by something.
Who, Sean Shelby?
Yeah.
Ooh, what do you say?
Yeah. Oh man, brush your teeth, dog. Yeah, Andre Fili. We've always been a huge fan of him. I think we talked pretty highly about Dan Ige too. Ige.
If we go back to last week, and we're covering the fights that were going to be coming up this week, I said, "Ooh, it's a dangerous fight for our boy." Right? And you're like, "It's a dangerous fight for both of them." And I was like, "Yeah, but Ige has a right hand, man."
Yeah,
holy smokes!
And Dan Ige, going into this fight, he just lost to Bryce Mitchell. He almost always pulls it out when he absolutely needs it. Like there was that point where he was on the 3-fight losing streak, Korean Zombie, Josh Emmett, Evloev. Then he goes back to back. It's like, hey man, if you lose this next fight, you might get cut. He goes back to back. Damon Jackson knocks him out. Nate Landwehr beats him in that dogfight. Then he loses to Bryce Mitchell, and you're like, oh no, dude, that's like the next test of being another ranked opponent, right? Because Landwehr and Damon Jackson are good, but they're not ranked.
Yeah.
So he loses that, and you're like, oh, dude, where are we at, man? Yeah, I thought this was the bounce back, and then every time he's in those spots, he kind of gets it done.
And I mean, to be fair, look at his losses, dude. Calvin Kattar,
yeah,
Korean Zombie, Josh Emmett, Evloev, Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, it's all when he's fighting ranked guys, huh?
And not just ranked guys, but it's all when he's fighting like
legit ranked guys.
Yeah,
Korean Zombie was like 100 years old when he fought him. But
yeah, but also he's a Korean. But it's still Zombie. Come on, dude. He's a Korean Zombie for a reason.
Yeah, and he fought the zombie of Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
Whoa, Rich exactly. Just went through all the pictures.
All right, Rich. Hey, we'll cut him some slack here. I think this is the first time he's ever done that. You know what I mean? So he's like, let me exit that real quick. We'll get going.
Yeah. So Andre Fili, Dan Ige, they've trained together a bunch. They talked about it a bunch. Josh says that Bryce Mitchell loss was really a win, though. Yeah, a lot of people had him winning that fight for Ige. But they trained a lot together, and I think that pretty much was the story of this one. I think Dan Ige knew Andre Fili's game too well. Dan Ige knew Andre Fili's game too well, and Andre Fili got a little complacent in his tendencies early in this fight. Because if you're fighting Dan Ige, he wants to walk you down and land that right hand. Hey, we're back. Look at that.
Yeah.
And this right here, Andre Fili did such a good job staying on the outside, and he'd pump that jab, step back, and then as Ige would try to counter off that jab, he'd step back, bam, and he'd throw that same side left hook over and over. I think he did it like 4 or 5
Sometimes multiple times. He's like, boom, boom.
Yeah. And it's good, but if you're fighting a guy who you've put rounds in at the gym over and over and over again with, they know that look, dude. Dan Ige knows that look. The jab to left hook, the jab step back left hook. And he kept doing it over and over and over again. And then eventually Dan Ige was like, cool, I'm in distance now. As soon as he starts to throw that jab, I'm not going after. I'm going at the same damn time. And he just caught him while he was extended with that 50K right hand, man. It's fucking good.
And I think we have some pictures of the sequence here as long as it works and it doesn't freak out again. So here it is, right? You see Ige just cock that right hand back, ready with that freaking coconut bomb from Hawaii. Boom. Right on the chin, dude. And look at the follow through from Ige too on the next picture. You just see it go, from look at all the way down here. Fili's hair is all over the place. Doesn't know what to do right now. And he falls in one last one for good measure. That last one, man, was so tough too, because his head straight bounced like a basketball, man.
Dude,
and
it looked like a movie. Like, it didn't look like a real fucking punch.
It didn't. Because Fili was on his side, right? And since he was like on his shoulder, his head wasn't laying on the mat. He was like, there's a lot of space. So he's like, with his head off the mat, he comes straight down all the way through, and his head just goes bink, bounces back up, and goes right back. And the look on Fili's face, like his eyes, dude, like this entire time just zoned out. And I was like, oh no,
dude. And then he puts his, like, in this picture, you can see his hands like this, and he's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Did you see him ask Herzog?
Yeah,
like, it's so tough. When he's down, right, and he's looking up, and the camera's zooming in on Fili, he goes, what happened?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, dude,
what a sport!
So
dude,
tough.
Danny Gay walked him down. Like, remember in Goodfellas when his wife calls and she's like, he tried to touch me, blah, blah. She's all hysterical, and he's like, what? And he grabs a gun. He walks across the street, and the dude's like washing his car, and then he just like grabs him. He's like, bah, bah. With the gun. That was basically that finishing shot was fucking.
If you ever touch her again, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Gaming references, movie references, Rich is on it.
Yeah.
So at the end too, though, right? Because one of the stories behind this was that Ige took offense to the fact that Fili accepted the fight because they were buddies, and he said that Fili saw this as an opportunity to break into the top 15 or the ranked, and so he's like, but he saw an opportunity to break in against me, and so
he goes wrong, dude.
Oh, dude. But the thing that was crazy was one the respect that was shown from Ige at the very end was awesome to see, right? They really like each other, you could tell. But then Fili on the stool, as Ige walks up and he goes, hey man, I didn't want to fight you.
Yeah.
And so I wonder,
you can tell he's struggling with it, dude.
Yeah. He really was. So it makes me wonder, like, was this one of those things where like he was really strong armed by the UFC? Maybe threw extra money at him? Because the part that I heard clearly was, hey man, I really didn't want to fight you. And I heard you say, I know, man, I know. And then he said something, and I just couldn't tell whether he was like, I had to take the opportunity. I had to, like, he said something like that afterwards. So I wonder if, like, he just really wanted to break into the ranked opponents, right? To the top 15. Or maybe the UFC just threw a little extra cash at him for accepting a short notice fight.
Yeah, it could be.
Either way, though, it's a sport, huh? It's a small world in the sport.
It's fucking brutal, dude. It's fucking brutal. Because it was supposed to be Lerone Murphy, right? Danny Ige versus Lerone Murphy. Oh man, I love Lerone Murphy. It sucks he keeps getting injured. He got hit by the car that one time, almost died. He got shot in the face, almost died. Like, what's going on with Lerone Murphy?
Got hit by the car, huh?
Yeah, he was riding.
He didn't get hit by Francis Ngannou. That would have been a lot worse.
Who knows? It could have been a Ford Escort. Could have been the same.
Can you imagine?
Like, son of a bitch. But yeah, so it's tough, man. And you have these friendships that you become like. There's always the friendships gone awry, like Colby and Masvidal, where it's just two insufferable assholes. But then there's like the guys who are like they just don't train together anymore. But there's a bond that you build.
Yeah.
And
trauma
bond,
dude. I think is that what you told me, right?
Yeah, to knock somebody out and just walk over them and just fucking bam, put a stamp on it is just fucking cutthroat, dude. And I respect
and
it,
the
dude.
thing
You
is,
got it. You have to do
you
it.
see it though. You see it because you see it in Danny's face, man. Like he hits him and he walks up to him just like this mother, boom.
Yeah, dude.
And then he walks away like super pumped. And then when the adrenaline starts wearing down a little bit, he's like, "Damn, man, that's my guy right there." You know,
Oh,
like
it's tough, man. It's tough, dude. What a fucking sport, dude.
yeah. Hey, but Andre Fili, we still love him, man. You know,
100%. So
and
much fun
dude,
to
you know, I
watch.
I know that he lost, man. Yeah, he's so much fun to watch, but I I still see growth in Andre Fili, dude.
Oh, dude, he's
And
getting
he
better
did
all the time.
UFC when he was so young, man. And so like just seeing him then to like where he is now, like I'm super proud of his development, his growth. He's still holding it down for Team Alpha Male. And Dan Ige, dude. I'm a fan, bro. I love me some Dan Ige.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm a big Danny Gay fan too, and it gets a little frustrating because, like, similar to Andre Fili, there's times where it's like this is the hump to get over to that next level, and he can't quite get there.
He was top 5 at one point, right? Dan
I think
Ige?
so. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
when
He was
when
right
he
in the
fought
top 5 for
Korean
quite some
Zombie, right?
time. Yeah.
When the Korean Zombie matchup was a high ranked
Because
matchup.
when he was fighting Korean Zombie, I want to say he was in the top 5. And then when Korean Zombie won, that's when everybody again was like, dude, this is another run for the title for Korean
Yeah,
Zombie. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, because like, what did he get after that? He fought Dan Ige and he won, and then he fought Volkanovski after that.
Yeah, see?
But I think that was because Volkanovski, there was like he was supposed to fight somebody else, and then it was a short notice thing, right? For Green Zombie, and everyone's like, "Fuck it, it's his last chance." Austin says, "Can't stay for the stream this morning, but hope the rest of it
Shout
goes
out
well.
Austin.
Love Dan Ige. He's a good dude, and his KOs are always nasty. Hope he gets some more W's soon. 100%."
Same here, man. Same
Shout
here.
out
Plus,
Austin.
he just seems like one of those nice guys. He comes out talking about his family all the time, you know.
Yeah.
He mentioned yesterday, he's like, maybe I'll go make another baby, you know?
Yeah.
He's just
Hey, right on cue. Blunderbub says, what do you say? It disappeared from me. I'll be a fan if he can now talk about impregnating his wife. Yeah, that was tough, man. That was
that was more of a thing where DC kind of teed it up from, you know what I mean?
DC set him up for like a joke, and then instead he's like, "I'll go impregnate her again," and it's like, "Hey man, don't be so literal about it, dude. Just fucking come up with like a fun joke about it, but don't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go home and fuck her. Like what, dude?"
Yeah. And like he could have just been like, hey, you know, like, yeah, my plan's to have another 15 kids, you know, get another 15 wins or
Yeah, just make a
whatever, you
joke,
know?
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll work on that.
We'll work on it. He just had a fight. He just fought his boy. He knocked out his boy. It's tough.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on.
Yeah.
We also had
We're gonna
Gregory.
skip one, right?
Yeah, we're gonna. This is where we start skipping fights again.
Already,
was a rough
dude.
night.
Co-main. We're skipping fights.
It was a rough night. Oh man. All right. We had Gregory Rodrigues versus Brad Tavares. RoboCop, bro. Like we heard body bags earlier, which is on one end of the spectrum, and then you got RoboCop, bro.
Yeah, it's top tier, dude.
RoboCop's good.
Top tier.
And the way he walks up, like as he's about to punch you too, like just super.
The guy's a
stiff,
machine.
You know what I mean? He really is.
Yeah. Maybe
On
a little
Natty?
bit of HGH in that gut, huh?
All natty, dude. He's all natty.
That's an HGH gut if I've ever seen one, dude.
But the
when your
biggest
abs,
thing,
your six pack sticks out farther than your chest, dude, that's tough.
nah, dude, he's fine. Look,
No disrespect.
Rodrigues throwing so much power in everything that he was throwing. You see every muscle fiber in his body just working as he's throwing a right straight, man.
Dude, that right straight is so good.
And we know Tavares is super durable too.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Tavares is another one of those guys who's been around forever. He's so hard to put away. He's so good, but has never quite had that string that like put him all like to get there, you know. But I mean, he's just so tough. He's been in there with so many guys. Heck, I mean, Nate Marquardt, Tim Bosch, Yoel Romero, Robert Whitaker, a little bit of Chris Weidman, Israel Adesanya, obviously, Elias Theodoro, rest in peace. I mean, he's just been in there against so many fucking Phil Baroni. He fought Phil Baroni. What the hell? Well, that's crazy, dude.
I know, man. I know. But hey,
you know,
I just want to call out Eric Nixick again, dude. The corner work going from
really
the first round to the second round. And he's like, hey, give me more shots down the middle.
Yeah.
You know, and he saw RoboCop was not moving his head at all. Very little head movement, keeping his head in center line. And so Tavares actually starts landing a jab. He starts landing the straight right. So I was like, okay, here we go, man. Like,
well, because the first round, it was just RoboCop walking him down, blitzing him, throwing nasty shots. Tavares rolling with shots well, but they're still connecting. He had decent grappling exchanges where he's holding him up against the fence. Again, showcasing the terrible rule set. We're not going to go into that 3 weeks in a row. But, you know,
a lot of stalling. I will say that. A lot of stalling from Tavares to end that first round.
Let me put my hand down. Oh,
but hey, if the rule's there and you're Tavares and you're in that
it.
position, you're going to use it. You know?
Yeah,
so,
but RoboCop.
Not faulting you for it, Tavares.
RoboCop showing that, hey, man, you're in a fight, but you can still be present. And he was picking his shots perfectly because there was one point where he had him in that front headlock position where Tavares is up against the fence, but he's basically folded in half and he has one hand down. And RoboCop is waiting. He lifts one hand up, bam, knee to the head. Tavares puts a hand down real quick, knees to the body over and over and over again. And Tavares was playing that game where he's fighting the hands and then a hand down, fighting the hands, hand down. And I was like, oh, please, dude, because it's split second. This knee could fire off and we're waiting for 5 minutes to see if we're going to continue and stuff like that. But RoboCop just so present, and Herzog was right there. He's grounded. He's up. He's grounded. It was perfect.
Great job, Herzog.
Like, great job, Herzog. Great job, RoboCop, for not just being like a madman trying to get a finish. He's like, oh, I didn't see the hand down. None of that. Great knees to the body, knee to the head when the hand was up. Perfect. Then the second round, Nixick is like, dude, shots down the middle.
Dude.
He's really
so
good.
Good, man.
You instead of don't let him get comfortable, it's actual do this. This will work. Do this. Trust me.
Yes.
And Tavares said, I'm a veteran. I can just trust you blindly. I'm gonna do what you say. And then he won the second round. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's on RoboCop to make an adjustment because that second round, like you said, Tavares was making those straight shots. And
you know what his adjustment was?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna blitz this guy and just
flip the switch on kill mode.
Overwhelm him. Oh my god, dude! Just throwing shot after shot after shot, nothing but full power into everything. Yeah. And I think RoboCop said, "Look, I think he's heard enough, right? To where even if I do try to go ahead and just give everything I have right now, something is gonna land that's gonna put him out." And the crazy thing is that nothing fully put him out. Nothing fully put him out.
Tavares is so hard. Yeah, he's so hard to put out.
But when it was the 3 straight rights, boom, as Tavares was leaning over with his hands covering his face, right?
Yeah.
But his temples wide open. 1 shot, 2 shots, and then the last kill shot, boom, just puts it all the way through. And Tavares' head just bounces. He bounces back against the cage a little bit. Ref had seen enough. Yeah. And Tavares is like, what is going on, dude? Why?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, he saved your life right now.
You know what it was like? It was like that scene, remember in Goodfellas when
Goodfellas.
It was the same thing. But
it was.
And then in the post-fight interview, he was talking about, hey, like I know in that second round he found my timing on my jab and he started cutting me off, right? And that's how he's having all that success. So he's like, I'll just say fuck the jab and I'll just start throwing this right hand. And he just kept throwing that right hand, dude. But again, it was cool, man. We were so close to having such a cool moment too, because after the second round, Nixick was like, see what I said? That shit worked. We're fast as fuck, straight down the middle, go out like the way he the way he like prepped him to start that third round, right? As they're like the horn sounds, like he's getting up off the stool and you can hear Nixick. He's like, fast as fuck, straight down the middle, go right at it. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm pumped. And then RoboCop was like, I don't give a fuck. Like touch his right hands, dude. It was brutal, man. Fun fight, though. Very fun fight.
It was a very fun fight, man. Again, there were some fun fights last night.
Yeah, every once in a while you get a good one, huh? Hey, when you put together 14 fights, some of them will be good.
You know what we should do?
Yeah.
We should start grading the card. Will's grade at the end. Will's grade at the end. Yeah.
Me? It can't be both of us?
Maybe we both give our grades.
And then we average them together, or we mix them together, and that becomes a score.
Yeah. We should start new segment. All right. You want to move on to the next one we're going to cover?
Yeah.
All right. We had Michael Johnson versus Darius Flowers. Michael Johnson, another one of those guys that just won't go away, huh?
Dude, he's so good. He
really
good.
Is.
You know, most of the time when he loses, it's a fight that he was winning and he just like got caught or like got out of position and they got him.
Yes.
But
okay. So this is something that I wrote down on my notes, dude. where I was like, there's just that group of guys where no matter how they're doing in the fight,
Mm-hmm.
you're just always worried about one of those
Yeah.
shots landing that puts him out, right? For me,
Yeah.
Andre Fili's one of them.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
Michael Johnson in this card, and then Trevin Giles as well.
Andre
Right,
Arlovsky.
so-
How'd you just have balloons go up on your screen right now?
I had balloons go up on my screen.
Please tell me I didn't just see that shit.
I don't know.
I swear you just had like balloons fucking come up around you. I swear to God. I'll have to go back and watch this. What the hell?
Whoa,
You
that's
didn't
weird.
click anything?
No.
What was that? All right, whatever. Michael
All right,
Johnson.
but so we had Michael Johnson, man. Hey, one thing that Michael Johnson still has is the speed in those hands, man.
Ooh, dude.
And people always say, as you get older, your speed's one of the first things to go. Power is one of the last things to go. Michael
Mhm.
Johnson still looks as fast as ever, dude, with those hands.
Dude, so fast and such cool combos where he'll go to the body and then come back up top at the same side, or like just really cool footwork to get in there and get out. He's I mean, the guy, when his hands are moving, they're fucking moving. And Darius Flowers was kind of trying to counter that first round. He had a good front kick to the body. I really like that. But how do you counter somebody who's just fucking lightning quick like that? It's got to be so hard. It's got to be so hard. And he's
Man,
just,
look at the chain on Michael Johnson in this picture is moving off to the side because he's throwing so much power, dude.
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
That's
I actually
awesome.
really like his tattoo. He has some sick tattoos. I like the armor on the shoulder and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
When are we gonna do a full episode on just covering tattoos, MMA tattoos?
it's coming. It's coming.
I guess.
This is what I like the most, though, because you're so worried about the hands for
Yes.
Michael Johnson. His
Yes.
timing and his entries on those takedowns and his finishes on the takedowns were so good. You're like, is this guy? You would expect this guy to be known as like a boxer based off these takedowns he had in this fight. He looked so good grappling. I mean, he's just perfect mixed martial artist. And there's those times where, like you said, you're waiting, like, is he gonna get caught? Is he gonna get caught as these combos get extended? The way you stop that from happening is you take somebody down, you stay on top.
Yep.
You know, there's been times
Yep.
where he's been subbed, where he's winning a fight and he gets subbed out of nowhere. But for the most part, dude, this is the complete martial artist in this fight. This was a very good performance by Michael Johnson.
Dude, always so nice to see veterans like this continuing to evolve.
Get their flowers.
What is
you
this?
say?
His 41st? That was his 41st fight, I think. And
Yeah,
we're still
it's
seeing
gotta be something like
elements
that.
to Johnson's game where it's improving, right?
Yeah,
and I love
he's
the
always
post-fight
had the
interview.
skills. Yeah, he's always had the skills, but to be able to put it all together in a performance is something else, man. It's tough. Shout out
Hey,
Keith.
shout out
Dropping in to
Keith,
say hi.
man.
What about the
Always
post fight?
nice to see him. Well, just because he even alludes to him loving to go to the body. He's like, yeah, you know me,
Yeah.
man. I love going to the body, then coming up to the head, and it's like fundamentals, dude.
Yeah, so basic, but like so
Fundamentals.
difficult to do at the highest level.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? I think this is
No.
where we kind of start flying through some of these fights, actually, right?
Probably all of them. Yeah.
Might be one of the fastest episodes we've ever had. All right. Let's move on. We had Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan.
Striker versus grappler.
A classic battle.
Yeah. It's what founded the UFC, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Petrosyan. I think
You
used
can
to
just
fight
cover this
Glory,
fight,
right?
dude. I think we both just have the same things to say.
You want me to just run through it?
Yeah, dude, just run through
all
it
right.
because
Petrosyan, I think former Glory guy, kickboxer, very good. Has that like point style kickboxing though. It's not like Alex Pineda, who's just out there fucking to land that high kick and that left hook. But very good point fighter. Rodolfo Vieira kind of struggled a little bit, but
hey,
he's
good pronunciation, dude.
Hey, look at me.
Yeah.
We made it.
Look at us.
You know, he's one of the best grapplers the UFC has right now. Accolade wise, skill wise, like he's got to be top 5, maybe even top 3, maybe even the best. Who knows? But he's up there for sure. Very good at jiu-jitsu, and not afraid to mix it up a little bit with Petrosyan. And maybe that's because Petrosyan is more of a point striker.
Yeah,
that
not
he's
too worried
like,
about his power.
Yeah, and like, you know, he's always got that in the back pocket that if he drops me, if he comes down to try to finish me, I'll probably sub him. Hopefully, at least. I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's
ready
a
to
little
work
bit of
off his
back.
back. Unlike
Yeah,
Brendan
there's
Schaub, like he's not just going to be going like this, you know, like
No
he's actually
butterfly.
grabbing something.
Yeah, not butterflies. But he's out there landing his jab, and I was like, all right, cool, land the jab. Beautiful entry in the takedown initially. Beautiful entry because Petrosyan was like, all right, cool, we're striking. because if you're fighting a jiu-jitsu guy or a jiu-jitsu girl, you're not too worried about the shots, like the takedown shots.
Yeah.
Traditionally, the best jiu-jitsu players always have struggled with shooting like a blast double or something like that. It's always been something that they've struggled with. Brian Ortega,
Damian
Mackenzie
Maia.
Dern, Damian Maia.
Mackenzie Dern, yes, absolutely. Good
It's
call.
tough. So you don't want to get clinched because that's when they get crafty little trips and stuff like that. But Vieira is just like, I'll get down on the hips. I'll duck under these strikes that you think we're jabbing, and I'll just duck under and take you down. And dude, I've been watching this fucking Blunderbuss says Petrosyan when he taps. What?
Surprise face emoji.
Yeah.
I love it.
Pikachu, surprise Pikachu. But one of the things that is really standing out to me with this Craig Jones instructional, I gotta send it to you or buy it. I don't know. I'll send you it. But maybe buy it.
Send it to me. Send it to me. Or send me the link so I can buy it.
There you go. That'll work. But one of the things he's really talking about is like, hey, you can get lazy on even single legs up against the fence because just getting your hands together on a single leg, you don't even have to finish the takedown, but it gives you leverage to pull them out to then free up, because it's hard to get your hands behind somebody, right? Because ultimately what you want to do is you want to clasp hands behind their legs, squeeze their legs together so they don't have a solid base. Then you can get the double leg takedown. Single legs are a lot harder to get on the fence, but what it allows you to do is pull them off the fence, and then you can fish your hands again back through. Because if I'm defending a takedown against the fence, how are you going to get your hand behind my other leg? The fence is stopping you, right? So you pull that single leg, and then you can drive back in, and as you drive back in, you can disconnect your hands, reach around, and get and clasp them on the double.
That makes sense.
And dude,
you're just creating space.
You're creating space so you can feed that hand through, get the double leg, clasp your hands. Because if you're defending a takedown, that's the opposite of what you want. You want to be glued to that fence. You want to shrug them up. And Blunderbuff says DC's going to come to your house if you keep talking about single legs. Hey, I used to live pretty close to DC. Not in the nice neighborhood that he lived in, but right down the street.
And true story, where we used to work, DC would actually come in and ask for Will, which was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, DC's the boy. Omar said, my man said, reach around. Hey, that's grappling 101, huh? It's always, as Craig Jones would say, jiu-jitsu's very gay. But yeah, watching this instructional from him is really cool, because now I'm starting to see these things that in the clinch I used to not really, that was probably my weakest expertise is clinch wrestling against the fence, and now I'm starting to see things that he's talking about, which is really cool. But watching Vieira, it's like, hey, did you watch that? He must have watched that same instructional, because
it was so good.
And if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you should watch that shit, because it's the way he explains is so good, and it worked for Vieira here. He's attacking takedowns. He's not getting them, but just the attacking of them can create other takedowns. It's not so much chain wrestling. It's different, but it's just repeated shots that are so much harder to take to defend against. But for little details, it's not just because you can only defend 5 in a row before the 6th one gets you. There's reasons for that are highlighted in this fight, which is really cool. But once he got it down, it was like, all right, there's no way Petrosyan survives. And
yeah, dude, even with the amount of time that was left.
Well, I was about to say they set up the arm triangle, or he sets up the arm triangle, and one of the commentators is like, he's only got 30 seconds, and it's like, dude, he only needs 5.
You know who's up there? Do you know Rodolfo Vieira?
Yeah, I forgot who tweeted it, but there was a tweet that popped up after the fight that was like, dude, Vieira's got snake poison in his veins because that squeeze is lethal. And I was like, fuck, that's tight.
Yeah, but I was going to mention that when he lands that arm triangle, right? And they're like, it's tight, but there's only 25 seconds. And they zoom in, right? Like it's a close-up of Petrosyan. And you see the squeeze get tighter, and you see the biceps start going more into that artery. And I was like, oh, it's game over, dude.
Well, you see, too, he had his hands clasped, and he's trying to keep this, because if you can see here, my shoulder's not pressed up against my neck because I'm framing like this. And you can see his hands just going like this. And you're like, oh, no, dude. Because once that that disconnects, that's like your last hope. And then he taps. They pull him off, and he's like, what? But, dude, but then he gets up, and he stumbles, and you're like, oh. At first, I thought it was a Brazilian tap, right? Where it's like, I'm going to fake tap to where the guy submitting me thinks it's a tap and he'll let go, but it wasn't a tap. The ref won't stop it, and I'll get out of the submission. That just happened for Doom not that long ago. But I don't think it was that. I don't think it was an intentional fake tap. I think it was he tapped, but he was not very conscious when he did it. Because you don't have to, but for people who don't know, you don't have to go out to where you're sleeping.
Yep.
You know, like there was time when we were in class and coach was drilling a choke on you, and all of a sudden he finishes drilling it on you. He's showing the class, right, and you come over, you like sit down next to me against the wall, and like he's showing on somebody else, and then like 10 seconds later you look up to me and you're like, hey, how to get over here? And I'm like, what?
Dude, I remember that like it was yesterday because I
Yeah.
remember he was showing the choke, right? Like if you can't sink the RNC, and he was showing that lapel choke, right? Like you grab, and so he starts tightening, and I remember tapping, and then the next thing I remember is like I'm on my knees sitting next to you, and I'm watching somebody else, and so like I was like, did I go out? And you're like, are you serious, dude? Like that's all I remember is you asking, are you serious right now?
But people don't know, like, you don't have to go out unconscious where you're laying there, lifeless. You could be out and still, like, your body's moving. You're still, because to me, I never would have guessed that you were out. You know, it's crazy.
Oh, your boy was out.
Yeah.
There's a few seconds I don't remember from that day.
Yeah.
Omar says, "Classic Chael. I thought a tap only ended the round, not the whole fight."
Yeah, it was a simple misunderstanding of the rules.
So good. One of the best lines ever.
Very good. Very good. But yeah, that's the fight, right? Rodolfo, very good, fun to watch. I'm interested to see what's next for him because he's still, for some reason, it seems like he's like older. Maybe it's just because he's had so much success in grappling, but he's 34 at a weight class where you can go pretty deep. You know,
he's got at least another 4 years in him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. 3-4 years,
especially if he's using like Brazilian supplements. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he's at 185. Jared Cannonier is like one fight away from the title. And how old is Jared? Cannonier's like 40, isn't he?
No, he's not that old. He looks younger than Vieira.
Cannonier's old, dude.
All right,
he's 39.
Holy smokes.
Middleweight, you can go deep, dude.
Man, all right. Anything else on the fight before we move on?
No, very fun fight to watch, though. It
was fun. It was very fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on here. We also had Trevin Giles versus Carlos Prates.
Dude. This is a fun fight, actually. I actually really like this fight. Round one, Trevin Giles, money. Money, dude. He was looking pretty good in round one.
Well, the thing is, you had Prates with the classic Muay Thai stance, right? Where you don't see too many fighters with the classic Muay Thai stance. And Giles was doing a good job of kind of catching him with the leg kick with that front leg. Yeah. Even though he was light on that front leg, he was still catching him. And then he was doing this thing where instead of just like standing there and just jabbing, he would explode into the jab and then step back and then explode into the jab and then step back, which I thought was pretty interesting. But as he was exploding in, Prates was like, maybe I could start meeting him with a knee to the midsection. So that was a nice adjustment from Prates on his end. Yeah,
it was a great adjustment. And in that first round, Trevin Giles was doing a good job of landing those hands and getting out, and just looked like he was kind of in that flow state early. Sometimes you start and you're on. You're already. I don't know if it's because you had a great warm up in the back or something about your opponent. You find that range early and everything you're doing is working, and it's up to the other guy to make those adjustments, and he did. And ultimately, that's what led to the finish, that knee, because the knee was catching him in the middle there, and there's that explosion right from Giles.
Catching him off balance sometimes,
Yeah,
really good job from Giles that first round.
Yeah, he looked great, and then man, he starts meeting him with that knee. Oh, look at that! Great timing, huh? But he starts meeting with that knee in the middle, and eventually you get reactions from Trevin Giles off that knee. And he would land a shot, and he would anticipate the knee, and he'd go down to block it. And that's kind of where he left himself open for that sniper of a right hand. Was it right hand?
Left hand.
Right hand. Left hand. Okay, yeah.
He started with the right.
Yeah, he was
expecting for him to come up with the left knee like he did here, but instead he came up with the straight left.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at this, does he look open for a straight punch?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And he found it. He set up that left hand perfectly, and just fucking. It reminded me of not the same, but the way he went down reminded me of was it Johnny Hendricks, Martin Kampman back in the day, where Hendricks lands that left hand and Cameron falls back and just like slides on his back. Like it was so crazy.
There's somebody else that did that recently too. I just can't remember who it was.
It looks like remember at the end of Django when there's the shootout in the house and everybody who gets shot at the end of Django just goes flying back. It was like that.
Yeah,
Dude. Like,
yeah.
He
Such a
touched
good
him with
movie
that
too,
death
man.
touch. Yeah, hit him with that death touch and Giles.
All these movie
out.
references today.
Hey, I watched Fargo last night or 2 nights ago.
How was that?
Not the TV show, the movie. So good. Katie had never
Really?
seen it, so we watched it. So good.
Hell yeah. And the TV show is good too.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch the TV show, but I didn't want to start the TV show, and Katie had never seen the movie, so I was like, we got to watch the movie at least. I have no idea if they're related. I don't know how they could be related. Maybe it's just the same town, but the movie's fucking sick. Yeah, it was a good fight too.
All right. We have 2 fights left to cover. Actually, it looks like we're going to finish right on the hour mark here. But we had
skipping a bunch.
Yeah.
Real quick, Oki fought Kwamba. Kwamba got a knockout. I think a high kick knockout a week prior. Took this fight on short notice. Clearly a weight class higher than he normally fights at. And then, Blunderbub. That happened at the end of Friday Fights. Yes. This weekend there was another one where someone got sniped and they fucking skid back on the mat. Crazy. But yeah, Oki, very highly touted. He just couldn't quite get it done. Kwamba, I'm excited to see more from him at his proper weight class in the UFC. I think he is good. I just wanted to highlight on that real quick.
For sure. All right, we'll cover Bogdan Guskov versus Zach Pauga.
Yeah, we're skipping 4 or 5 fights. Yeah, Guskov looks like the pale orc. Shout out movies references from The Hobbit. Azog the Defiler. He looks like an orc, dude. Like Anthony Smith's like distant relative or something. Some orcs in the UFC.
Like if Anthony Smith had a kid with God, what's his name? The middleweight Italian.
Vittori.
Yeah,
Vittori's another orc, dude.
Yeah, Marvin Vittori.
Vittori's another orc. You got
like
Josh
a mix
Emmett,
between the two.
Anthony Smith, Vittori, Guskov. They're all these orcs taking over, huh? Pauga looked pretty good that first round. Employed his wrestling a little bit against the fence decently. Was landing good shots. Guskov kind of fights in that not as like method to the madness as Yidri Prohaska, but there's a lot of the same similar kind of movements with the hands low, square stance, and he's throwing these weird kind of shots from his hips. Very similar to Yidri.
Dude, he really does look like a movie character. Look at him.
Yeah, it looks like Azog, dude. Rich,
by the way, if you're just listening and not watching on YouTube, highly recommend watching on YouTube because we actually put up the pictures.
Yeah.
So you can see what we're referencing, right?
Yeah. Blunderbub says the scouring at the Apex. Hey, shout out Blunderbub with the Tolkien. Okay. That's not a Tolkien reference that most people would get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a solid one. I didn't realize. I wasn't familiar with Blunderbub's game, but I am now. But yeah.
Will, he looks like Gothmog, dude.
He does. Like... Hey, that's a little rough, dude. That's a little rough, dude.
The ears are pointy. He looks like Gothmog. In
you know, Gothmog was Gothmog was. They designed him with Harvey Weinstein in mind. Peter Jackson didn't like Harvey Weinstein.
Damn, that sounds rough.
He was like, dude, I'm gonna make this orc inspired by Harvey Weinstein, and he's like the gnarliest looking one.
Oh my god!
But yeah, back to the fight. It goes off the rails when we're on the 3rd fight of the prelims, huh? Omar says this will probably be my hipster KO pick of the year so far. Watching someone melt the punches it hits different. Because look, it was very
accuracy at the end.
You don't see this at light heavyweight. This is a knockout you see at like featherweight or bantamweight, where you can uncork these shots, and as they're out on their feet, they just haven't fallen yet, and you just bam, 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 and as they're falling, everything landed. He's just square stance, firing from the hip like Jack 5 and Tekken, and he's just everything he threw was landing as Pauga is just slowly falling because he's a light heavyweight. Fucking nasty, dude. Nasty.
Yeah.
It looked like a Manel Cap finish, huh? At light heavyweight. Crazy.
It was amazing, man. And that you mentioned how he kept his hands low. Almost reminded me of like a little bit of like Bobby Green. You know, where he comes in with that low. Now, Bobby Green's a little exaggerated, though, because like sometimes he like leans over and his hands are like below his hips. He kept his hands down by his hips and just shot straight from there, which was a really weird angle for Pauga to pick up. Now, on my notes I put down, that something was impressive to me with Pauga was how calm and composed he was when he's standing in the pocket trading. You
Yeah.
can never tell that he's like under fire.
Mm-mm.
Now, my next note was he looked too comfortable in the pocket because he was just comfortable with shots coming his way, and he was just eating them.
The sequence that hurt him for the finish tagged him early in the first round too, where Guskov throws that kind of right hand from the hip and then leans back, hits him again, and it landed early. And Pauga ate it and poker faced it pretty well. But the second round, it landed with some more sting on it. And Omar says, remember the Simpsons episode where Bart had an evil twin living in the attic? Replace Bart with Anthony Smith. Classic. Shout out the Simpsons. Watching that lately too.
A lot of references today. I like it.
Yeah, hey, when the card doesn't entertain enough, you got to start pulling from other entertainment. Huh?
For real.
I do have Gothmog pulled up, Will, if you want to make the comparison.
Oh, let's do it. Let's see Gothmog.
Oh, dang, bro.
That's why I was like, it's a little harsh.
Wait, go
it's
back.
It's a little harsh.
Go back.
It's
Harvey Weinstein in the ears. Oh, look at the top. Look, it says Harvey Weinstein up there. I told you.
Okay, now can you go back, Rich, and click on the one on the top right in the middle?
Top
so
right.
I can see it a little bit larger. That one, yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Dude, I kind of see it. I kind of see it.
Pull up Azog.
Especially half the face. Half the face. Like there's one face that's really like all mauled up, right? But the other half looks pretty damn close, dude. That is pretty damn close.
We're going off the rails here, huh?
But I mean, Azog is also, in
Let me
there.
see. No.
See, this is
no.
You don't see that?
No. Go back, Rich. Let me see Guskov.
Gothmog.
And then
Azog.
Guskov.
And then Guskov.
Oh, sorry.
Bro, even his name is
fighter, Rich.
Huh?
Yeah, my bad.
No. It's the first one.
Yeah. So this is Gothmog.
Yeah. Half the face is really close to that, but yeah. All right. That's all we got for that one. That's all we got for that one. All right. Last fight we're gonna cover: Hyder Amil versus Fernie Garcia. This was an absolute war.
Banger. Wrote this one down for the notes for fights to revisit at the end of the year. Amil coming out with Gilbert Melendez. Shout out Northern California. Garcia. It's a tough picture. It's a tough picture on this one, huh?
Well, dude, hey, how about that looks like Phineas from Phineas and Ferb, dude? I was like, who is he fighting right now? You never watched Phineas and Ferb?
I never watched it, no.
Oh my god, dude. So Rich, pull up Phineas and Ferb.
Oh my god, dude.
When you see it, and it's got to be the side shot of Phineas. But when I saw this picture, I was like, dude, that's a rough picture there. He looks straight out of a cartoon. But yeah, look, it was a banger. Fernie Garcia, one of those Mexican fighters that when he starts getting hit, look at that,
god, dude.
Look at that one right there, Rich. Enlarge that one. 100%, dude. Tell me that's not. Look at that. Spot on.
Oh, dude.
Look at back and forth. Thanks, Rich. Oh, what are we doing here? All right.
But
yes.
Amil, sharp as attack, dude. His striking is very cool to watch. And Garcia, like
we just
you said,
lost 20 subscribers in these last couple of
for
references that
sure.
we made.
For sure. But Amil, really cool shots. I like the left high kick to the 1-2. Really cool. That hurt him originally, and he almost put him out there quick in that first round. And he's landing the knees. He drops a couple times where usually the ref kind of would have stopped it. Where you put your hand down, you're down to a knee, and you're not playing the knee game, the grounded opponent game. You're just like, might be done here. Kept going, stands up. Amil has him against the fence, and he's literally just bam, bam, couple knees, and then Garcia's like eats 3 knees in a row, stands up, hits him with the left hand on the break, and just drops him, and you're like, or staggers him, and you're like, holy shit, we have ourselves a fight here. And then they just start going swanging and banging mode, and eventually Amil ends up on his back, traps his arm like BJ Penn, is fighting the choke. Garcia gets out of it, frees his arm, reverses it. He's now in his guard, ends up taking his back. And you're like, what the fuck is happening in this fight? This is crazy.
Insane.
It was insane. So good. And then Amil reverses him. They're flipping back and forth. And then he's on top and he's landing big shots. And then the second round started and you could tell Garcia is like, I don't have anything left. That was all I had. It was all I had.
Yeah.
Blunderose says I actually have no complaints about this one. Great brawl. Yeah, very fun.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Very fun. Eventually, Amil got the finish here. Garcia was just exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. You could tell. But fun fight, man, while it lasted. Fucking banger. And props to Amil because to be able to get caught like that, not once, but twice, and not just on the feet, but also on the ground and survive both, that's impressive. That's tough to do. It's really tough to do.
All right, man. That was it. Those were all the fights we're going to be covering. Do we have a moment of silence ready to go for the fights we lost, Will?
Yeah, shut up, Blunderbuss. Yeah, fights we lost. We should have a slide for it.
Maybe.
What do we
there
lose?
It is.
Originally, Amil was supposed to fight Norden Becky. That would have been a fun fight, but Garcia steps in on short notice and puts on a banger, so it's all good. Ige was supposed to fight Lerone Murphy. That would have also been very good. Lerone Murphy, it's like, dude, we need this guy to fight. He's at a lower weight class. He's getting a little bit up there in age, and he's a very good prospect, but it's like, this is a big test, big opportunity for him, and he couldn't do it. Oki was supposed to fight Hadzovic. Hadzovic withdrew. That's why Kwamba took the fight on 1 week's notice after just knocking out a guy the weekend prior. Derailed was supposed to originally fight. He couldn't get in for the visa issues, I guess. And then Bagdasarian was originally supposed to fight Amil, and then Amil steps in. With Bagdasarian withdraws. Norden Becky steps in. Norden Becky withdraws. That happens a lot. Garcia steps in.
So really, Garcia was the third option then, huh? To go up against Amil?
Yeah, I guess so.
Norden Becky and Bagdasarian.
Sticking in there, huh?
Yeah.
Blunderbuss says, how about a quick word for Junior versus Chang on Friday Fights? I haven't seen all of Friday Fights yet. I don't think I saw that one. I still haven't watched it. It's been a crazy week.
If you haven't watched it, you know your boy here hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah. Next week, speaking of one, we got one Friday Fights, I believe. Oh, just kidding. We have performance bonuses. I forgot. This card sucked, so you just forget that there was anything. Ige had one for his knockout.
50K obviously. Ige. Let's go.
Yeah. Cashing on that nickname. Much better than Body Bags.
Yes.
Body Bags is good if you're knocking everybody out, I guess. But damn, 50K Ige continues to get that 50K, so it's a good nickname. What else do we have? I think Rodolfo Vieira got one for his show.
Rodolfo Vieira, there it is.
Great picture, UFC. You have an arm triangle finish that gets a bonus, and you pick him jabbing him in the fucking tits, dude. What are we doing, UFC? You don't take the picture of him lifting him up, about to slam him? What are we like? What?
Just anything other than this one here.
Anything other than this. Oh my god.
Who else? Prates had a bonus.
Carlos Prates got one for that sniping left hand. Very good. He deserved that.
And then the last one.
The Hork. Guskov got one. Yeah. Fun stuff. All worthy of bonuses.
Now we cover next week's fights.
Yeah, next week we have one fight night, not Friday fights. What is this? 19 Friday? One fight night 19. We got Haggerty defending his Muay Thai belt against Felipe Lobo. That's a banger. Simon Petch versus Yunus Rabah. That's a rematch because remember, Rabah dropped him and then kneed him in the face while he was sitting in the corner, and everyone was like, "What in the fuck was that? That's illegal." And one was like, I don't know. We'll just let it roll. And then they're like, let's book it again because of the controversy. And it's like, but you didn't even acknowledge the whatever. Daniel Williams versus Lito. That's going to be a banger. Daniel Williams back in MMA, which I think that's where he should be. That's a fun fight. Liam Nolan back in there. He's very gifted. Tetsuka is a good one. Luke Lasay versus Eddie Apostolo. Get ready to put that on your list of fights to rewatch at the end of the year. That's going to be fucking nails, dude. That's going to be so good. Shout out both those guys. Luke the Chef, Eddie Apostolo. Wonder Girl's back. Dong Poon is back. It's a good card.
Nice, man. Nice.
It's a good card. Get ready for the walkout for Dong Poon to start the night, huh?
And then do we have
chain? Gonna have the tattoo Dong Poon across the chest.
Oh. What do we have for the UFC?
It's a little small. I don't know why I decided on that. We have Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria. That's a banger. Robert Whitaker versus Paulo Costa. The fight's actually going to happen. We got Jeff Neal versus
We'll see,
Ian
dude. Don't
Machado
say that right
Berry.
now.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't
look at
jinx
Rich.
it.
Thank you, Rich. I don't know why I chose that picture where let's see. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Fluffy Hernandez versus Kopylov. Andrew Lemos versus Dern. Holy smokes. Tafa's back in there. Rinya Nakamura, get ready. That guy's going to take the UFC on by storm. He's so fucking good.
Jedi de Lima versus Tafa. Oh my God, that's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, that's a good one, dude. Opening the event, we have Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. That's a banger of a card, huh? UFC
It is.
really just giving us shit for the entire first part of this year up until this card. And they're really Val Woodburn back in there. I hope he has some success. He's the one that took the fight on very, very short notice debut against Bo Nickel. Very excited for that. Rinya Nakamura, though, huh? That guy's fucking good. Really good.
All right, man.
Fun card.
Should be a fun card, yeah.
Did you see that promo I sent? The Volkanovski promo? He's like,
oh my God, the
saying
old guy
Volk is
promo.
so old. Oh my God.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
So funny.
I'm really hoping he pulls this off.
Everybody, it seems like a lot of people think Ilya's going to win. I know he's talented, but we have not seen enough for me to confidently pick him. We haven't seen him deal with adversity. We haven't seen him deal with somebody who can make adjustments, who can actually fight to his weaknesses like Volk can. I just cannot confidently pick him. He might win, but I cannot confidently pick him based off what we've seen.
If Volkanovski beats Ilia Topuria,
Mm-hmm.
he's beat Max Holloway, Yair Rodrigues, Topuria, Ortega. What's left from after that?
Evloev, yeah.
Arnold Allen?
Yep.
You know?
Evloev, Arnold Allen. Yeah.
And I know Ortega has a fight coming up here against Yair Rodrigues here pretty soon. So I think whoever loses between those two guys has to fight down.
Yeah, I mean, Ortega, he's ranked 4.
When's the last time he won?
It's a better question.
Yeah, man.
Let's pull that up.
I'm
Brian
pulling
Ortega.
it up as we speak. Last time he won was against Korean Zombie in 2020.
Yeah. That's insane, dude. That's insane.
He's only fought twice.
Holding on to that ranking, huh?
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Dude, that's going to be a banger, too, though.
4 years, 2 losses, and he's ranked number 4.
Hey, he must have gotten
good while last year
fighting for the title, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Have he taken that much time off?
Well, he got injured in the Yair fight, so he's been out for a while because of that, I think.
True.
But yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot to cover next weekend, huh? Jesus Christ,
a lot to cover. I'm here for it, though.
Same.
I'm here for it. All right, bro. Well, thank you, Blunderbub. Thank you, Omar, Regen, Keith, Austin, Coleslaw. Like everybody for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun whenever people join us live. If this is your first time watching us, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're trying to reach 11,000 subscribers. And if you don't like the recaps necessarily, maybe you like the fighter interviews, maybe you like the fight companions, maybe you like the video essays. Like there's a lot of different things that we actually do. And if you don't like watching, we like listening.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Anywhere podcasts are found, storyofthefight.com will list all of our socials and all of our links, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, our website for the shirts, the hoodie, the merch. Buy it. We don't make any money off of it, but we want people to have it and rep it. I think we make like 60 cents for every t-shirt we sell.
Dang.
Fucking rolling in the dough. But we just want people to have it, huh? And it's actually good. Like the quality's like fucking sick.
Oh, it's super comfortable, man. It's still kind of chilly over here in Texas. It's a chilly 48 degrees. Your boy would have never noticed with this awesome hoodie.
Yeah, look at that.
All right. Well, hey, and I know people are probably also wondering who produces this podcast. I want to let everybody know it's produced by Richard Bustos. There we go. Thanks everybody for joining us for another week. Story of the Fight.